Is anybody, can you all hear me? Okay. Is there anybody here who's not heard about tapping? There's a few. Okay. So tapping is a simple method to calm down. Now, you can tap when you're anxious. You can tap when you're nervous. You can tap when you're worried. You can tap when you're scared. You can tap if you're angry. You can tap if you've got a physical pain. You can tap if you're scared of dogs. You can tap if you don't want to eat cake, if you can't resist cake. You can tap if your house is in a mess and no one's clearing up. You can tap for issues around the wall. You can tap about the sirens. Tapping is a simple method where we tap on these acupuncture points. It's an evidence-based method. It's also known as EFT, and it is a simple method to calm you down anytime, any place, and we are going to have an experience of that. However, tapping is also so much more. It is an evidence-based method, and we heard the wonderful speaker before, and he was speaking. It was an interesting thing that he said, because he said something about you're not enough, or he said that at one time. And I was thinking to myself, why? Why would one think that even? Now, when you go for clinical EFT, when you go to dig deep, why do I get anxious in situations? Why would I even think maybe I'm not enough about something? Why do I get angry? What's it all about? What's going on a deeper level? And that's what we do in clinical EFT. So maybe me standing here and I'm getting nervous and my heart is beating fast. Yes, let's tool tap to calm myself down. But why would I get nervous in the first place? What's at the back of my mind? Many, many years ago, I went to see somebody like, why am I nervous? I really want to spread EFT in the world. It's my mission. It's my passion. It's the method. And it's the biggest growing energy psychology in the world at the moment. Millions and millions of people are using this method. And I wanted to share it, but I was so nervous to speak in public. And I went to see somebody and I realized what those childhood thoughts were. Because as we tap on ourselves, not only are we quietening down the stress response in our brain, we're opening up our subconscious areas and we start to see what makes us behave the way we do. And that's where it gets fascinating. We can tune into where does it all come from, and it works really, really fast like that. So not only can you tune into your own subconscious, so, for example, regular tapping, if I've got a wound, I'm going to put cream on every day and it might start to heal. But why is that wound there in the first place? Why do I keep behaving like this? More interestingly, and I've got so much to say because I want us to cover a lot today. Yes, you can tap with your child. You can also tap for your child. So this is where it gets interesting, because why is my child always angry? Why is my child moody? Why is my 18-year-old son vaping? Last week, I worked with somebody whose 18-year-old son stopped vaping because in a session with me, she tuned into his deeper subconscious. And in this dialogue that we created in the session, he told her. He told her why it was, because his younger sister had passed away a few years earlier, unfortunately from cancer, and he'd never grieved and he couldn't bear the feelings. But as she tuned into his emotional space, it all came to her. He didn't have to go for therapy. She released the trauma on his behalf. She said to me last week, Pearl, he's completely stopped, completely, and he's happier in himself. So that's a little bit of a taste. I've got a booth upstairs and I've got my wonderful colleagues are here who are also going to tell you about our way of working for our children, for our loved ones. It's called Tapestry. We've called it Tapestry because it's all about tapping into yourself, tapping into your child. You can use it for your spouse if your spouse annoys you. I'm sure that never happens, but if it does, here's a way you can work. I'm watching the clock. So what I want to do now is do some tapping with you. So what I want to do is we're going to do it first for ourselves, and then we're going to do it for a loved one. So doing it for ourselves, you don't have to know anything at all. But what I want us to do first is take a moment to tune into our own, as you did before with the breath work. I want us to tune in to our own sense of self right now. What am I feeling right now? Is there any tension anywhere in my body right now? Be aware of it. and just rate it. How strong is it from 0 to 10? Now, this is what I do. I've run since October 2023, October the 8th, I opened a Zoom group every day to help people process how they're feeling about the war and what happened. And we often start with, how are we feeling right now? Because whatever's going on out there, we all want to feel peaceful inside. You know, we can't change outward circumstances. We want to feel good inside. So right now, we all want to feel good inside. So let's notice, where are we feeling any tension? Just say it to yourself, the number 0 to 10. 0 is no tension at all. 10 is lots and lots and lots of tension. So get your own number. I'll give you a moment to do that. And then we're going to start the tapping. Now, when we do the tapping, I'm a person who likes to be doing. That's why I love tapping. So you don't have to do very much except doing the tapping. That's it. So I want you all to follow me. And in this session, this part of it, we're not going to use words. Quite often we do use words. We can have a rant about how we feel. But for now, we're not going to say any words. I'm just going to show you all the points. And we'll do it very, very gently. And we're going to start by tapping on the eyebrow. So it's just where the eyebrow starts. I hope you can hear me. And we're going to tap very gently on the eyebrow. The next point is the side of the eye, very gently. And then we come to under the eye. And the beauty of this is, when we're doing like this, as long as we've taken a measure beforehand, we can let our minds have a wander when we're doing this. So here we are under the eye point. The next point is under the nose. The next point is on the chin. And we go round and around and around the same points. The word is mechanoreceptors, if people are interested in the science behind it. And on the collarbone. And then underarm. So the underarm, you can either do it on one side. We're not going up here. We're going on the sides. We can either do it like that. We can do it both sides. Or if we can't reach, we can go like this. Feels a bit strange if we've never done it before. For me, it's not strange because I do this, I don't know how many hours a day. So, and then take a breath in and a nice long breath out. And then we're just going to check in with ourselves. So just check in with your numbers and tell me, if you put a hand up, if your number's gone down, and then we just do it again. So why don't we do it again? And we'll see if our number goes down a little bit more. And if you want to name the tension, you can. If you want to name an emotion, you can think it to yourself, or you can just follow me with the tapping and let your mind have a wander. And then we're going to tune into a loved one. So on the eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose. It's quite interesting because we are actually tapping into our body, but we're not really even aware that we're doing that. We're trusting the tapping does the work. On the chin, on the collarbone, and on the underarm. Take a breath in and out. Okay, what I'd like us to do now is, and it's only going to be a taster, of tuning into a loved one and seeing what we notice and what changes. Because this can be really, really fascinating. Even doing a few minutes, you may experience a change. So this is not about changing yourself. This is about stepping into their space. So what I want you to do is, and now don't choose something huge because this is only a little mini. Bring into mind a loved one who's got some sort of tension themselves. So allow them to come into your mind, but really, really don't choose anything huge. Just allow them to come into your mind, okay? And do you know what? I think we'll have people have their eyes closed while they do this. And it's going to be very repetitive. But I want you to all repeat my words as we do this. So bring them into your minds with their distress as you see them. And I want you repeating my words with me. Okay. So, and I will name the points. On the eyebrow. I see you. I really, really see you. Side of the eye. I see you. I really, really see you. Under the eye. I see how you're feeling. I see how you're feeling. Under the nose. I see you. I really, really see you. I see how you're feeling. Collarbone. And even though you're feeling this way, I love you and I send you my love and I'm here. Under the arm. I see you. I really, really see you. Eyebrow. I see your distress. Side of the eye. I see how you're feeling. Thank you for showing me. Your feelings are real. Under the eye. Your feelings are real and important. And I see you. I really see you. Chin. And I'm here. Collarbone. And I send you love. Under the arm. I send you love. Back to the collarbone. I send you love. Okay, take a breath in and a nice long breath out. Okay, look at your person again and tell me, or you can put your hand up, don't have to say anything though, if you've seen it, if you see a change in your person. Now, this is something that you can do, and this is what we do in sessions, but what we do is we actually go much, much deeper. But this is a little practice that you could do. I worked with a woman who had 11 children, and in our hour session, we did 5 minutes on each child to help them feel good before Pesach. And she told me afterwards it was a different Pesach for her. But this is something you can do on your own. Please come and find me. I'm Pearl Lopian. I have my wonderful colleagues over here, Natalie, Deborah, and there's a few others who've been, other of my practitioners. Chaya's here. Wonderful to see you. And lovely to meet the people who I've only met from the head up beforehand. Lots of love. Thank you. And really, I feel very blessed and privileged to be here.